again, everybody. I'm your host, it's Cousin Cecil, back again for the part 2 of this week's Cousin Cecil show, where we're going to be talking about the glorious Fandome. And oh my God, I hope everybody saw it so we at least can be all informed when I'm talking about it. But yeah, welcome back to episode 5, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Like the great Batfleck returns to the Flash movie. I swear if the Flash movie saves and fixes the DCEU, let Ezra Miller choke another victim out. I swear to God. But yeah, how you guys doing this week again? Ozzy, real quick, I'm also going to tell you what I watched this past week, because I didn't talk about it in part 1 because I felt this is more better. This week I watched Lovecraft Country, the episode 1 last week, and I hope everybody checked it out. It was amazing. If you, how would I even word it? I walked in not knowing exactly what it was about. I did not know that Lovecraft Country was a book from Matthew Ruff. I didn't know it was about the racism and bigotry of H.P. Lovecraft. I didn't even know Lovecraft created that really bad short, I guess, essay about the creation of N-words. But without spoiling, I'm going to say it like this: it's really good. It does have supernatural monsters in it, but the scariest part of it is the actual real life prejudice and racism from the 1950s, because it's basically the elevator pitch. There's this man Articus who returns home to look for his dad, who's been missing for a week. And before his dad left, he left a note saying, "Find me in Lovecraft Country." It involves him, Uncle George, and Junie Smollett as Lietta. And they go out on like a cross country going towards Lovecraft Country and like these maps, while Uncle George is a person who writes the Green Books, which were the old books to show safety for African Americans crossing America, through that time. There's only been it's like a little small sandwich. The show started with some supernatural stuff and ended with supernatural stuff, but no, like the idea of just the racism and segregation that happened back there, it just flares me. It's sad. But I'm happy that they showed it so that, like, the way I look at it, I think we should learn all of history so it's not either whitewashed or even any color washed. But I wish they just showed like this one did, because I never knew about sundown counties, which are some fucked up ideas that basically like no African Americans are allowed be driving around or in the county by sundown, which is nuts. I would really look into it tonight while I'm recording. It's going to be episode 2. I'll keep you. I'm not going to probably talk about it again, but I'll keep you up to date if something really happens, good or bad. But yeah, another quick note I did before we get in was because the DC Universe app finally has Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, the animated movie, which is basically the end game of the animated universe for DC. And I'm here to say I like it better than Endgame. Maybe it's because I am biased, but also the idea of that cartoon was rated R, and it also, I think, does a little bit better of like that, because there's a moment in time when they go try to attack Darkseid, and it jumps ahead 2 years, and it's messed up, but it's really well done. If you have not seen it, I would check it out if you're a DC fan. And I love the ending, without saying it. I love the ominous, it could be good, could be bad ending. Obviously, it's Justice League Dark, so John Constantine is the main real, star that we're trying to follow. But I've never seen this idea of, like something bad happening to Superman, and he has to be part of that weird effect. It was so well done, in the idea of the Planet Apocalypse versions of Wonder Woman, Starfire, or either it was Hawkman, excuse me. it was just so well done for an hour and a half show. They wrapped it up so well. It makes me look forward, or I'm glad how it ended the 15 movie run of this universe, because during this fandom they also showed Superman Man of Tomorrow, which starts the new universe. And I'm looking forward to that. I think it comes out digitally this week, but I'll check it out. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I want to get into the DC Fandome. And oh my God, this is probably one of the best produced events this summer. This one goes for me like DC Fandome to the Day of the Devs, that little video game one. For production wise, it didn't look like obviously Al Qaeda match videos. And then I don't count Nintendo Directs because they've been doing so well produced stuff for years now. But like for a summer of COVID, the DC Fandome really worked out for me. But yeah, let's get right into it, what they started off with. They started off with the Wonder Woman 84 panel. To me, at the first beginning of it, it looked a little weird and off just because of, it turns out they filmed it, but they gave us an edited version of it for the fandom because September 12th is another fandom, so that there might be some answers or questions that they answered that are not ready to be, exposed yet, which might be in September. But to be honest, the Wonder Woman 84 panel was a little, I'm going to say dumb, only because it's like, I don't want to put that, because I do like Gal Gadot. You know that moment during COVID when they had all the celebrities and her singing Imagine from the Beatles? And like, there's just a lot of You Go Girl like phases into the show, which is just, for my cynical self, I'm like, whatever. It was okay. The best part of it was obviously once they got to the trailer for Wonder Woman 84, and this is the first trailer they showed Kristen Wiig's character Cheetah as her like final form Cheetah, and she looks great. This could have been a legit like the movie Cats scenario. We could have had people's faces on cat bodies and looked terrible, but the trailer shows she looks really well. I do think it's going to be good because it makes it sound like, which is in the comics, there is going to be a little interconnection with Wonder Woman and Cheetah. So it's going to be a little personal when they fight. It was pretty short and sweet. That's what another thing about these panels. They had a whole schedule set up, and it showed you like, hey, you want to see the Wonder Woman thing? Okay, sit tight. It's only going to be like 30 minutes. Bing, bang, boom. We'll get you out. Have a good day. But for Wonder Woman, for that moment in time, because there was other segments with Wonder Woman, they showed the trailer. It looked really well. It is still set to release after the delay, but it's still set to release on October 2nd this year. We'll see how that goes. The movie still looks good. I'm really looking forward to it when it comes out. And then next, they came out with a fucking right-hand punch of, they had the WB Montreal announcement right after for the next game. And like we've been talking about for almost, well, for me, a month, but people have been talking about for a couple months that Warner Brothers Montreal has been teasing these little snippet segments. People are always talking about core vowels. Well, we were half right. We're not getting an Arkham game. In my opinion, I think we're getting something better. They announced Gotham Knights, which is the scenario of Bruce Wayne or Batman is dead. He sent out like, if you read this message, I'm dead message to, and then we get to play basically a DC version of Avengers that looks 10 times better. I know people are probably going to be all butthurt when I said that. If you go look at the trailer, it is a mix of the Arkham series of quality of like an open world, because I guess that is the counterpoint that Gotham Knights seems like it's going to be in Gotham compared to the Avengers, which is going to be all across the U.S. During the panel, Gotham Knights showed an 8 minutes of game footage of you cruising through Gotham as Batgirl on a bike, and just it looks already 10 times better than even the Arkham games because there are actual NPCs walking around the streets like it's like a real town. And then to find out when she's cruising towards the mission, which was Mr. Freeze mission, you see in the top right corner, Robin joins the session. This is going to be a multiplayer game like Avengers, where the idea of you're leveling up, even the players level up, enemies level up, and like the developer said, there is an actual difference in combat styles that the enemies will do compared to if you did this mission of Mr. Freeze at level 5 compared to like level 50. Like they'll do different battle styles towards you. It's drop in, drop out multiplayer. And I didn't even get to tell you, obviously you get to play as either Batgirl, Tim Drake's Robin, Red Hood, or Nightwing. The reason I say Tim Drake's Robin is because when I was watching it, I'm like, oh my God, please give me more Gotham Knights. Because at the current Detective Comics run, there's a Gotham Knights, and it's actually Batwoman, Batwing, which is Lucius Fox's son, and like Clayface is a Gotham Knight at that moment in time. What's her name? Orphan. And then there's another lady, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I wanted them to even bring in the Signal, Duke, because in the gameplay you see Batgirl use these billy clubs, but they can also like extend into looking like nunchucks, and that's kind of like the weapon that this Duke uses. Then the demo ends with a trailer to shows you the different styles, because there's different ways to approach the level. Like Batgirl was more sneaky. Tim Drake was too, but obviously he could teleport using satellites. It looked really awesome. I can't even explain it. I wish everyone would just go watch the Gotham Knights gameplay. It was announced that it's going to be next year, and it's going to be PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X. So I wish it was just all next gen so that we not have to worry about downgrading the system for the game. It's got me very excited, and I'm just going to say right here, so because I'm part of the memory, I'm more excited for Gotham Knights than the second game that was announced at the DC Fandome, which we'll get to. Next was the Sandman Universe Enter Dreaming panel. They had Neil Gaiman talking about what he thought about writing the original run of Sandman 30 years ago, and was joined by G. Willow Wilson, current author, talked about her growing up fan and blah, blah, blah. They also talked about the original run was converted to an Audible exclusive, and that Sandman is coming to Netflix and won't be so by the book, Neil said. And then during the Fandome, there were some offshoot smaller panels, just some for some laughs, and others one was called Multiverse 101, which was the 3 heads of DC. For comics, the main head, Jim Lee. Movies was Walter Hamada, and TV was Greg Berlanti. Very short. Basically, COVID is messing up the shit of TV and how cool it is to have like the multiverse, to have multiple actors and shit. It was kind of felt like a cop-out about that. But to each his own. And I think I'm coming to terms with it. Just is what it is. There ain't going to be whatever. And they did tease that HBO Max is going to be the plane of existence that will mix movie universes and TV universes so that you can expand a movie universe better. And then the point being is because Hamada hinted that the Batman, the one that is being made with Robert Pattinson, that universe is in its own universe, like Gotham world, so it's not connected even to the current like Wonder Woman, Aquaman shit. Yet the Gotham PD show that's coming to HBO Max is that universe, and it's going to expand on that. I didn't know this, but maybe also I just forgot during the time when Ezra Miller Flash. He learned his name was the Flash when he met Grant Gustin's character in Crisis of Infinite Earths TV show. I didn't know that. And the reason I bring that up is because the next panel was the Flash movies panel. And long story short, they said, well, A, we haven't been able to do production yet because of COVID. But two, the director is, where is it? Andy Muschietti and his wife Barbara. He's the director of like the most current It's. The reason I'm bringing up stuff, he shows some concept arts because Barry's going to get a new suit. And it turns out the suit is being made by Bruce Wayne, which also I'm going to say during the panel, the concept art showed the suit next to a more Michael Keaton Batman, which was Michael Keaton's confirmed for the movie. But the idea of that movie is going to use the information from Crisis of Infinite Earths TV show so that Barry of the movie knows that his name is the Flash for his hero name, which is, I think that's great. I think that's cool for a little Easter egg of connecting. It was pretty short and sweet. It was showing that, for me, it showed that the Flash movie is going to be that good sense of serious humor, kind of like Shazam, because of obviously just judging by the panel, which was only 10 minutes, but they were popping up flash facts like to be funny. So I can just tell it's going to be a pretty good ride once they get to start it. Next was just a Batman Beyond skit for ha-has. It basically was they had animated Bruce Wayne watching a 1966 version of Batman. It was just bullshit. But then after that, they showed the Suicide Squad movie panel. James Gunn obviously came out, talked about, did questions from the fans. Basically, he said he focused his movie, and he was reading Suicide Squad back from the original run from James Ostrander or something. I can't remember the name. This was the first time he announced all the characters' names, and they are. Well, first we're going to do the old cast. Viola Davis returns as Amanda Waller. Joe Kinnaman returns as Rick Flag. Margot Robbie is obviously Harley Quinn, and then Jai Courtney still Captain Boomerang. And then there's two sections we're going to do this. I'm here for you. That's why I'm your boy. We're going to do the new squad, and I'm going to tell you what kind of, like, they're obviously villain names, but I'm going to tell you what hero they're villains of, so that you can, like, check back and see. First up was Michael Rooker's is going to be Savant. Savant's a Bird of Prey enemy, and his first appearance was in Bird of Prey issue 56 back in 2003. Fula Borg, he's a YouTuber. He's going to be the villain Javelin. Javelin is a Green Lantern villain. He was first appeared in issue 173 back in 1984. Then David Dashmashian, I can't spell it. He's from Ant-Man. He's actually, coincidentally, he was in Dark Knight as one of the cops that gets handcuffed and gets Two-Face tortures. He is going to be Polka Dot Man, and Polka Dot Man is a Batman villain from Detective Comics 300 from back in 1962. And then one of the bigger ones was Idris Elba, because people were trying to guess it, and James Gunn was hinting, oh, none of you picked it, and then he tried to be coy and say, well, you guys might have picked it, but I'm not, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, turns out Idris Elba is going to be Bloodsport. Bloodsport is a Superman villain, and he was first appeared in the Volume 2 of Superman, issue 4, back in 1987. And while looking up, apparently there's been 3 different Bloodsports, but he's going to be the original Bloodsport. And they made sure that we knew that he's in jail right now because he's the man who shot Superman with a kryptonic bullet. So we'll see how that goes, if they're going to even really talk about it. Then Steve Agee, he is going to be the voice of King Shark. King Shark is, the reason I'm going to say this for this one is a couple of the other villains that we're going to talk about. They're used to being for other characters, but King Shark first appeared in a Superboy issue back in 1994, issue 9 of Superboy. King Shark also, technically, if you're trying to be a collector, his first cameo was in Superboy issue 0 of the same year. But then they showed Mauling NG. He's going to be Mongal. Mongal is a Superman / Green Lantern villain. Her first appearance was in Showcase 95, issue 8. Long story about that, just so people know, because that's like, who's Mongal? Mongal is the daughter of Mongul with a U, which is, he is for sure a Superman villain. And then in some closer to current Jeff John runs, he's been a Green Lantern villain as well. But also next was Peter Capaldi. He is going to be the Thinker, which if you're a Flash TV fan, you already know this villain. But yeah, he is a Flash villain, and he first appeared in All Flash number 12 back in 1943. Pete Davidson is going to be Blackguard, and Blackguard is a villain from Booster Gold, and he was in Booster Gold issue 1, 1986. James Gunn's brother Sean Gunn is also in the movie, and he's going to be the Weasel. If you guys saw the trailer, I hope you did. Obviously, the trailer, the Weasel looks cool. He's kind of looks like a drugged out Rocket Raccoon, but obviously DC, baby. The Weasel first appeared in The Fury of the Firestorm, issue 35, back in 1985. And then there was John Cena's character. Well, for this section, John Cena's character is Peacemaker. And he has a pretty interesting history for this idea. Peacemaker used to be a Charlton Comics character. And he first appeared in The Fighting Five, issue 40, in 1966. Long story short, Charlton Comics went under. DC acquired them. And that's how we have the character Peacemaker for DC. And they did a miniseries back in 1988. The images of what John Cena is more into when the Charlton Comics were. So we'll see how it goes. And just for people to understand, apparently Peacemaker is a character who wants peace so badly for what he believes in, he will kill for it, and that's how he's a villain. And then there's a small section I wanted to put into a different category. There's these new characters. Some of them, like Nate Fillion. Nate Fillion's character's name is TDK. And apparently, doing research for him, this is a James Gunn creation. Not DC. Just got approved to be in it, which we'll see how it goes. And to my knowledge, if I hear something like that and never heard of him, he might get shot. Who knows? Alice Barga is going to be Sol Soria, which is also not a true DC character, but people on the internet are possibly thinking she is relations to an actual DC character named Juan Soria from the 2018 run of Suicide Squad. We'll see how it goes, but obviously it could be just a little, wrench in the system. And then I put her in this category, but Daniela McQuire is going to be Ratcatcher 2. The reason why they put Ratcatcher 2 is because the original Ratcatcher, which I have the news, or was a Batman character villain from issue 585 Detective Comics of 1988. They just obviously did, for the movie, the internet is saying they just obviously did a gender swap, and there's a possibility that this Ratcatcher 2 is going to treat Idris Elba as like a father figure. But the style of the movie is going to be like a 70s war movie, and is rumored to have more characters that are not announced. I didn't want to spoil it here, but I did see another villain that was possibly there. Apparently people who were watching on set said there was a certain flag. Well, I could tell you, but I don't want to spoil it. But another villain who's been in another Suicide Squad cartoon, I'll just say, he's going to be possibly in it. It's set to be coming out August 6, 2021. Next was the Females of Color panel. I listened to it. I think everyone should listen to it, but just be aware it was good, but it was a little SJW. But in these times with shit going on, it's kind of needed. It's part of also, it was a little section of like the I think I'm going to say it right, Blurred and Bougie. They had like an after party with that same name with DJ Nice, and DJ Nice hosted this panel. It was good. I mean, obviously, like I said, a little SJW in the sense of like at the end they were asked questions like, which I've heard before, which it's good to hear again, but also it just makes me sad. Like the idea that there's these families out there watching these shows, and like their little black daughter, he comes up like, "Mommy, she looks like me, and she's so beautiful. Am I beautiful?" Like that stuff gets me. It's sad to hear kids think they're not good enough. But I'm glad they get this. They get to still ring that bell so people know they're beautiful. But that's why I'm just saying, because also like there's a moment in time, if you had your powers from your TV show, what would you do? Like again, it should be said, it should be repeated multiple times because nothing has changed. But like the one said, I would use my powers to apprehend the police officers that killed Breonna Taylor. I hope I said her name. I hope I fucking didn't say the wrong name. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It also was the first panel, which there was another one. It had the new actress for Batwoman. So yeah, it was good. I would check. All these panels has a little something, especially if each panel showed like this is how long it was going to be. You could sit down and enjoy it. It wasn't that bad. Because I'm going to fire off the next 4 panels were just really small ones, like the Legacy of the Bat. Just talking about Batman. Can't remember. It was just even like just talking about like the biopics. Nothing even like no announcement stuff. The other one was Chris Daughtry singing at home. Whatever. Joker panel about 80 years of the Joker, which just happened. Like you could go get the 80th anniversary. That's the one that Greg Miller has a small story in with Gary Whitta. This one was kind of cool. One was Jim Lee reviewed at fans' artwork of DC villains. The guy played coy. I don't know why he was trying to be coy, but obviously he wanted to look cool in front of Jim Lee. Jim Lee said he did a good job, but obviously just like, oh yeah, you gotta do this professionally. He goes, no, I kind of just do it on the side, whatever. Trying to act nonchalant about it. I thought at the end of him looking at the artwork, I thought he was going to have the guy go, hey, you want a job at DC, but it didn't happen. Next was a surprise panel with the return of Milestone Comics. They had the co-founder Denys Cowan, Reggie Hudlin, Jim Lee, and the voice of a lot of childhoods in Static Shock, Philip Lamar. Milestone Comics is a line of comics that started in 1993, that the whole company was black-owned, basically made a black-centric superhero universe. Heroes as Icon, Hardwire, Blood, Syndicate, and Static Shock. And basically the panel announced that in February there will be a new comic series coming out. I'm not 100% sure if there's more, but they know for sure they said Icon and Rocket and a new Static comic coming out. The co-founder really wants to go back and do Hardwire, but they kind of said it as a joke, so I can't tell if they're really going to do a new series or not. And DC said before February they're going to start republishing graphic novels of older Milestone runs. So these times it's good to have what's that word? Heroes that you can relate to. Hey, that looks like me. I like Static Shock. I grew up watching the Static Shock show on WB, and I actually like to. If it's not that much, I'll probably look into the Icon. I've seen that Icon character in pictures for a long time. But then, yeah. Next was a small panel about all the different region actors who voiced Batman. It was very small. And I ain't gonna lie. I took a nap right now. I fell asleep during that. My brain was nutting through the whole goddamn fandom, especially with the video game. I had to take a nap. I woke up, had to look up. Apparently, I fell asleep right before the fucking Snyder Cut. Apparently, they did questions. Then they showed a new trailer that shows right off the bat Darkseid. He looks great. We saw footage of the movie version of Iris West. And it shows Barry saving her from like a car crash. These are also things that were not in the original, cut of the show. So like Cyborg's football scene, some tiny scenes that look like it will help the story move, like Wonder Woman actually checking that scene of the flaming arrow in Greece. Saw Steppenwolf's new look and possibly another one of Darkseid's cronies. Who he was wearing like a draped hood. They actually showed more of Mera and Aquaman interacting in a crumbled Hall of Justice with a Joker card blowing by. And then they officially announced that the Snyder Cut is going to be a 4-hour episodic series. And to be fair, I was thinking it's probably the best bet because like during one of the I think episode 2 of the podcast, I wanted like a 3.5-hour movie, give him his one little swing, and that's it. But 4 hours, 30 minutes more than I said. I can't complain. And I just hope I want a Blu-ray set of this movie. I don't want to watch it and like stop it, here, watch credits, roll, bing, bang, boom, bullshit. I want a full-blown 4-hour movie with no cuts. I hope that comes out on Blu-ray or 4K. Then they had a Flash TV show panel, dropped a season 7 trailer, and COVID has messed up the shooting. And for me, as a person who's behind of watching the show, it sounds like they're doing 2 arcs this season, or maybe they've been doing it since last season, but they're still dealing with Barry not as fast as he was, and it starts next year instead of this fall because of COVID. So yeah. Next was a Black Adam panel, and The Rock is the man. The Rock is the only guy who can think that can fucking sell you a concept art trailer, because they did not have any footage, but a concept art trailer showing moving little scenes of art for Black Adam that got me hyped for it. Like the idea of, because if you don't know who Black Adam is a character who basically was the first chosen person that the Wizard of Shazam picked to have the powers, like 5,000 years ago in the movie. And he's kind of an anti-hero in the movie, so he sounds like he has more of a gray way of looking. Like, if you're bad, like, he'll kill you because you're bad. Not because he's not going to arrest you for being bad. He's going to end you because you're bad. And then they also announced that the Black Adam movie is going to involve a smaller set of the Justice Society crew of Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher. And then also The Rock teased that he wants his Black Adam to clash with Superman at some moment in time. And they even had art to show it. And I'm like, ooh, that'd be so cool to have The Rock's Black Adam fighting even Henry's Superman. Also, real quick, just so I know that Atom Smasher, he has already been confirmed, but it's going to be, if you guys saw the Netflix show To All the Boys I Love, the main interest of that, I can't remember his name offhand. Then they had a CNN Real Hero bullshit about COVID. Then there was a Titan Season 3. It was short, but it was just confirming that there's going to be 2 new characters, and it confirmed that Jason Todd's Robin is going to turn into Red Hood in Season 3. But they announced that Barbara Gordon is going to be in it, and she's going to be more of the Oracle version of her, so the one in the wheelchair. And then they're also announced that Scarecrow is going to be in the Season 3. The next 4 panels were short in the information. I'm here to obviously just tell you. Aquaman was basically just saying they're going to expand the seas and universe more of Aquaman in Aquaman 2. Literally did not show anything. It didn't even have Jason Momoa there. There was a funny, small Harley Quinn cartoon panel of her answering questions and basically hoping that there's a Season 3. Next year is Wonder Woman's 80th anniversary. So I think they're doing by year for her, but so like this year had Joker's 80th anniversary. We just went through Action Comics and Detective Comics issues 1000s. And then obviously next year there's probably going to be a special comic coming out for the 80th anniversary of Wonder Woman. And they got to talk to Linda Carter, and it was obviously Gal Gadot and Patty Jackson, who's the director of Wonder Woman 84 and Wonder Woman. They just talked to Linda Carter about Wonder Woman. Then there was a panel that involved Jim Lee just talking about finding writers and artists from like different parts of the country. They were focusing on China during this panel. But yeah, just some small snippet ones. And then they had the Shazam panel. Very short again, just because of COVID. And I think they might be holding off for the next month's fandom stuff. But this one they showed the title of Shazam 2, which will be Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And they announced that Sinbad the comedian is in the cast. And they were joking about the old internet joke about Sinbad being in the movie Kazam. You guys remember that? Hearing that? With a movie that never happened? Then they went back to the Wonder Woman cast and they did some dumb fucking game on a Zoom call. Oh my god. Just a waste of time. To then just go right into Rocksteady. Rocksteady's game they finally showed the Suicide Squad's Kill the Justice League game. But it was just a CG trailer. But it shows that you're in Metropolis. Looks like Brainiac crash landed into Metropolis, which makes you understand the purple hues of Superman in that poster. It also shows that the Suicide Squad crew for the game is going to be Harley Quinn, Deadshot, who is not like that because of how comics are. It is a black Deadshot, kind of like Will Smith, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. Year of King Shark's 2021. Well, this next coming year, because, hold on. But it seemed fun. It seemed very exciting. And it ended with Superman crashing a helicopter, grabbing the pilot, and killing him. And that's how they hinted that they had to go kill Superman. It is coming out in fucking 2022. But it is only next-gen consoles. PS5, Xbox Series X, and of course PC, but it's a ways away. And they had a small segment with the director, and they said that the Suicide Squad game is in the Arkham universe. That's why the Gotham Knights one is in its own universe. And again, I'll just rephrase it here. That's why I think I'm going to like Gotham Knights more, probably because it's closer, and also it feels more familiar, just because I've not played a Batman game with guns, so I can't imagine how that gameplay is going to be yet until they show us more. But I can't wait. Like, I know I'm probably sounding iffy, but I'm thinking about taking a nap right now. For my brain's still nutting about goddamn the fandom. It's my favorite shit. I even bought the T-shirt for the Snyder Cut that says on the back says I'm an associate producer. This was my favorite convention of the year yet for the summer for this COVID stuff. And I hate COVID, which everyone does, but I'm glad COVID was here so that we can have these weird moments of, like, I got to be in watch a Zoom meeting, but still the idea that be there for an event like this. It was really fun. But then we are at the final panel of the night, which was the Batman. It's in mid-production. It's going back into production starting in September. Matt Reeves, that's the director, was talking about because someone asked a question about, like, Gotham itself is a character. And he goes, you know how other directors obviously use, like, Chicago or as, like, ideas of how Gotham is, or New York? He said, the Batman's Gotham is going to be designed by Liverpool. So you'll be able to see in, like, how the scenes are. But we also got a glorious trailer. The Batman, the story is about basically year 2 of a Batman, of the Caped Crusader. The trailer shows Jim Gordon, who's Jeffrey Wright from Westworld. He's at a crime scene, and later within the trailer we find out that it's a Riddler crime scene, but he's holding like a riddle, a clue, and he goes, "Is this for you?" This is to the Batman, but then we see Robert Pattinson's full-on cowl and suit, and it's gorgeous. It's fucking tremendous. I don't know how more to say it for the idea of it's like the first design, like it rolls so much up. If you didn't know, like even the Batman symbol on it is actually the metal of the gun of Joe Chill, the guy who killed his parents. But it's just nuts. Apparently also, even if it's Batman Year 2, apparently these are also the first up-and-comings of the villains too. There was a small shot of Colin Farrell as his Penguin. I didn't even know it was him. It happened so fast. I thought it was one of the mobster families. No, it was Colin Farrell. And like I said, the villains are new as well. That even Colin Farrell's character apparently doesn't like even called Penguin yet. Like Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. She's not being recognized as Catwoman yet. She's just a burglar. The Riddler is being played by Paul Dano, and this is like his first crime. So that's interesting to hear. And like the idea of, like, if anybody had second thoughts or nervous that Robert Pattinson was going to be the Batman, if you saw the trailer and then just see the part where he grabs a goon and he just viciously beats him down and like does like the ending of the thing was I'm vengeance. It looks great. I'm very interested. I really hope nothing gets ruined so they can come out next year. Also, Matt Reeves put more in depth about that Max series of Gotham PD, and it turns out Gotham PD is going to be basically year one in the point of view of the department dealing with a mass vigilante plus the corruption of Gotham's police department. That's it. That was the thing. And then we're going to have more information, more comics-centric stories, not just movies, in September 12th with another Fandome show. I can't wait. Look at that. I'm going to be running this edit and then just hitting publish now. Might be even, hopefully I get it done before midnight. But yeah, another quick note, just because of, not going to talk about next episode, but I saw on Twitter today that there is going to be a Karen's movie coming out, possibly with I can't remember, I think it's the chick from Orange is the New Black, like that redneck one with the bad teeth. But she gets to be a white privileged woman terrorizing her black neighbors in a movie called Karen's. What is wrong with this world? But yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to do more hot picks just because that's how I do it. For comics, 3 Jokers issue 1 comes out this Wednesday. 3 Jokers is about, at the end of New 52 run, Jeff Johns had Batman on the Mobius chair. The Mobius chair will answer any question it is asked. Batman asked 2 questions. Who killed his parents? Who is the Joker? And at the end of the Mobius chair said there are 3 Jokers. That was canon before Rebirth. And this is Jeff John writing his answer about the 3 Jokers. Comes out Wednesday, issue 1. Please look into it. Music. Jesse's Girl 2 by Coheed and Cambria featuring Rick Springfield. It's a pretty good tune. I actually, if you like Coheed and Cambria, I do too. It's pretty good. And also a movie that just threw one out there. This at the end of this week, Bill and Ted Face the Music comes out. Check it out. It's up for pre-order right now. Again, thank you guys all for always listening. Hopefully you guys don't get tired of me doing a part 2 of this. Please follow me on Twitter at MikeFowler93, at Cousin Cecil, CUZNCISEAL, at Cousin Cecil on Instagram. Like, subscribe to the pod. Until next week, be good to each other. Have a good one.